before.
Got
like
it.
that woman telling us that it's being recorded.
Recording in progress.
Can they get an Australian one of those instead? Would be
Recording in progress.
Yeah, right, mate. Grab yourself a good old drink or something and we'll sit down and smash this out. That sounds like more like Australian, doesn't it? I love it. Lovely to see everyone here. Amanda is here. Karen, Leanne, Paul, Rachel, Keela, Catherine and Kirsty all here. It's awesome to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. I know there wasn't a lot of notice for this webinar, but we are getting absolutely smashed with requests for help with awards this year. Not surprising, given that here we are again, another lockdown happening in parts of Australia. What else can you do but sit in front of your computer and look at what you've been doing and enter awards? What a great way to spend your time. So that's very awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to be very quiet and monitor the chat box this webinar. And anyone else wanting to jump in, and let Annette take us away with this webinar because she has so much to share.
Oh, that's putting me on the spot. I'm used to you taking control.
Oh, no, not today.
It's just letting me go. So Lauren and I decided to put on this webinar because we are in the thick of award season. It sounds so special when you say it like that. Get out your frocks and your ties and your suits and get ready to rock and roll. But we realise, and what we're noticing is people are leaving it to the last minute, which is fine. We're pretty good at hustling, but it creates a sense of stress, some anxiety, and I think a lot of people then get to the wire and go, oh, no, I can't be bothered, or it's too much stress, or there's not enough time. And we want to let you know there is certainly enough time, but it's all about being planned. You've got to have a plan and you've got to know when the deadlines are coming up so that you're not leaving it to the last minute. So I really want to talk today about, but my dog wants to join in as well because he has a lot to say. I don't know why, but he's a boy. He's just talking. He's finished now. No, he's not. He's been quiet all morning. So I want to make sure that you ask the questions that you want to ask because this really is for you. So what the awards are open at the moment is that you need to know about the ones that you can enter now so that you can do a little bit of planning about what's available, what type of award it is, and what you need to make sure. So first of all, I'm going to start with the awards that are open. And if you have any questions or you want to know something specific to your industry, your type of business, you know, something that you've accomplished this year, just pop it in the chat box and Lauren will bring it to my attention because I'm really bad at looking at the chat box. I get so caught up in what I'm saying. So right now, the Osmopreneur Awards are open. So I know there's a couple of blokes that we've got tuning in. So sorry, guys, there's no OzDad Awards unless you want to create that for yourself. So the nominations for the Osmopreneur Awards close July the 2nd this week. So that's Saturday. Is it Saturday? No, it's Friday. So get in there and nominate yourself or nominate someone that you know is worthy. They're a really easy award to enter. It's 10 questions and it's really more the touchy-feely type of stuff like, what do you wish you knew before you started your business? What advice would you give someone? And question 6, which is the one that, and the last one, question 6 is, what have you achieved this year? And the last question is, why do you deserve to win? Now, most awards do have that question. So I would encourage you, whether you enter awards this year or in the next couple of months, to write that one down and start having a think about why you deserve to win. It's not about because I'm the best or you know, because my mum said so. It's really about what difference have you made to your audience. So if you feel uncomfortable talking about yourself and going, oh, I don't know why I deserve to win, reflect on that from the point of view of the problems that you've solved in the past 12 months and the impact that you've made on your clients or your customers. You know, what's the difference? What's the ripple effect of what you've been doing over the last 12 months? So there's the Osmopreneur Awards, the Stevie Women in Business Awards. Early bird is closing on June 30. Bear in mind that's US calendar. So it's July 1. Again, It's what are your accomplishments and what's the significance of those accomplishments, which is really around what problems have you solved. The International Business Awards, which is open to all types of businesses, regardless of gender, regardless of where you live. Their final deadline is July 16, so you've still got a couple of weeks to get into that. And the Telstra Best in Business Awards have been reimagined and refurbished and pivoted like all of us over the past 12 months. And they close phase 1 on July 26. So it's a multiple choice for the first phase. You've got to get through that. There is a trick to doing that because they base the responses of that multiple choice on whether you get through to the next phase. Plus, there's a whole heap of industry awards. There's the Raw Awards, which are open. They close July, end of July. CEO Lawrence listed them all there. That saves me a whole lot of words. So the first question I've got from the lovely Amanda is, what is the best category for speakers in the Raw Awards? So I'm just going to bring that up. Amanda, in terms of speaking, can you give me a little more context, speaking about what and to whom? Because that will make all of the difference.
There's a question further up, but Keela has just asked, how do I present our company in the best light possible, even though we're only a small business in a huge industry? I know Keela, her husband's a builder. She's a interior decorator designer. And yes, how do they present their company in the best light possible, even though they're only small in a massive industry?
I'll go back to that while I wait for Amanda to pop that information in. So how do you present your company in the best light for an award? First of all, sit down, brain dump all your achievements over the last 12 months. Okay. Don't edit yourself. This is where people come undone. As they start writing, they go, oh no, and I can hear it when I interview people as I'm pulling out this information, and you ask, what have you done? And you start digging and they start to answer, and then they edit themselves. And you're like, no. Keep talking about that, because when we're in the thick of what we do, it's really hard sometimes to really see the impact of what we've done over the course of a 12-month period. So start by brain dumping. And then the next way is start gathering evidence. So if you write down in your list, we grew by 15% during COVID. Why did you grow? How did you grow? What strategies did you implement? How many clients did you bring on? Did you change anything that you were doing? Did you up your marketing? Did you increase your Facebook advertising? So every time you make a claim is then quantify it. That's how you show your business and you in the best light. Is you can't just make overarching sweeping claims, like you see people, number one event in Australia. Really? Why? How do you determine that? Was there a vote? Is it based on testimonials? Is it based on the number of events that are currently won? And then as you're gathering this evidence, is that you've got an opportunity to then to display that in a support documentation which backs up your entry. And the next best way to present your business in the best possible light is to read the questions really carefully in any award, because you want to be constantly going back to those questions and thinking, have I answered it? Because there's nothing that makes a judge roll their eyes more than reading a submission and going, I don't see how that relates to the question. Is that will impact their ability to objectively judge you based on the criteria. So read the questions, read the criteria. Your number one exercise out of this is to brain dump all your accomplishments, no matter how big or small or ambiguous or weird or out there that you think they are, because the beauty about brain dumping means that you can go back and you can discount things once you've got it out of your head. So get it out of your head. That's the best way to shine the light on your business. So next question.
I think before you go
It's
to the
Amanda.
next
Could
one,
I
sorry, Amanda.
could I please answer like off mute without typing in the chat to Annette's question? I want to say that I'm an award-winning speaker, and I have been a PR speaker for the Guide Dogs Association for the last 4 years, and I was wondering what category would be best to enter in for that.
Okay, so you've been speaking about PR for the guide dogs, or about the guide dogs for publicity purposes?
Yes, that's right. I've been
Okay.
talking about guide dog etiquette and encouraging people to donate to the guide dogs and sponsor guide dogs, and I've been able to get some, you know, reasonable sized donations and a couple of dog sponsorships and different things out of it.
Okay, Amanda, I think you could look at the MAD category, making a difference. Not that you're
Cool.
mad.
Yeah.
Well, you may be. I don't know you well enough to make
A
that
little bit.
judgment yet. You could also look at social change hero, because what you're doing is about trying to create change in the way that people relate to the Guide Dog Association, to people who have sight impairments or who are blind, how they interact with guide dogs, because then that makes us all easier to live in this inclusive society. You could also look at, maybe you could even look at Making Waves Award.
Okay, cool.
So
Thank
I
you.
think they'd be 3 really good ones for you.
And may I be greedy and ask a follow-up question?
While you're here, go on.
Well, thank you. What do I say about business culture? Because one of the questions in the Royal Awards is about business culture, and I'm a sole trader, so I don't really have employees, and so I don't know what to say about business culture.
Oh, that's a great question. It's a really hard one when you're working by yourself. And I've been confronted with that one before when I've entered business before Lauren and I teamed up. So you would be wanting to talk about how you keep yourself motivated, how you continue to thrive and grow in your business. What training programs have you done? What networks are you a part of? You know, how do you continue to be motivated and engaged in your work? That helps you continue to do what you do. So go back and look, you know, it relates to you and how you make an impact.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Before we let you go as well, Amanda, I would bring to your attention the fact that the International Women in Business Stevie Awards this year has a couple of new categories, one of which is Social Change Maker of the Year. And I know that you talk all about inclusivity, especially in the workplace and so on. And one of the categories in there is disability. So
Okay.
that absolutely nails your particular category, Amanda. Its category is A54 in the International Women in Business Awards. And as a speaker, to be able to say that you've won an international award for being a change maker, that really leverages your whole topic, which is awesome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Amanda. And now before we go back to Annette, because she's giving such great gold, I hope everyone's writing down everything that she's saying, although we are recording, so you can go back and watch again. I just want to touch quickly on Keela's question. You know, how do we make our business look really good? How do we put our business in the best light when we're up against this huge competition with bigger businesses than us and so on? I think this is a question that a lot of people worry about is, look, I'm keen to enter, or I want to dip my toe into awards, but I know I'm going to be up against some bigger businesses, bigger organizations out there. As Annette quite clearly pointed out, if you've chosen the right category, if you've answered the questions, and if you've given the judges enough evidence, this is the nicest thing about awards, is you can absolutely be level pegging it with some massive businesses out there. And I know Annette and I have both personally and helping our clients win awards against some of the biggest organizations in the world. We were up against DHL and we beat them. I've been up against Accenture, which is an international marketing company, and I beat them. So it's not about how big a company is. It's about exactly what Annette says. Choose the right category, make sure you read the questions, put your best foot forward. And even if you don't win, the fact is you're a nominee in the category alongside these other big brands. And that up levels you branding by association. So don't let the size of your business or how much you've achieved or feel that you haven't achieved stop you from putting yourself forward. Awards is a great platform for any size business to really have a go. So don't let it hold you back.
Yeah, and I think that's the key word there, is having a go. And we can often, I've been talking a lot about imposter syndrome over the last couple of months, because we let the voice in our head really talk us out of doing so much, especially if we go, oh, but I'm only small and there's all of these bigger businesses. Most awards program, particularly those who've got a very clear criteria process, who've got a panel of professional judges on board, and have clear guidelines on how that judging process is rolled out, is that they look objectively at the business. They're not sitting there going, oh, well, I don't like them because they're only little. They're basing their judging on how you've responded to the questions. And I was talking to someone this morning, which we're writing a Stevie Award for, and she went, oh, do they want financials? And this stops a lot of people. Is no, they don't need to see your financials, unless, of course, it's the Telstra Awards. But almost every other award that I've been a part of writing or judging, is they're really looking for evidence of your growth. Now, that could mean you started up 12 months ago with zero in the bank, and you're now turning over $30,000, $40,000 a year. Now, your growth is exponential because of the things that you've done to do that. So you can talk about growth in a percentage format. So over the past 12 months, our business revenue has grown 50% from year to year. That's the impressive part, is what your growth is, not how much money you've got in the bank, unless, of course, you do have a lot of money in the bank. And my birthday has gone, but Christmas is coming up. So if you do want to buy us a present, you can. So don't let that worry about you, your finances. You can talk about your client growth as well. I got a bit off track there, but I think that's really important, is that don't go judging yourself by who you think is going to enter, or who perhaps could be entering, or that is entering. If it's a really good awards program, and Lauren and I only try and represent those ones that are credible and reputable, is that you will know that there is a very rigid judging process, because we don't believe in these flimsy, whimsy ones where you pay $600 and you just give them your social media links and your website address, and that's it. So
now Karen has a great question. Her big question for her is, what awards are open for education and edupreneurs at a national and international level? So we're looking specifically at education or edupreneurs. So that's a really good question for you, Annette. Your thoughts?
Oh my God, I've just finished writing a whole list about this. So there's a stack of awards, like the International Business Awards. The Stevie has got some amazing categories for education. Mind you, it's at the pointy end of the stick for these awards. They close in 2 weeks, so you are paying their late fee for the entry, but they've got, I think there's 6 or 7 categories for education. The Stevie Women in Business Award has got a new category this year called Thought Leader of the Year. So you could also be looking from that perspective, is what is it about your educational program that has got that innovation, that leadership, that changing of people's thinking that you could tap into. There's the Reimagine Education Awards 2021. They are, I think they're open right now. The Osmopreneur Awards have also got, they don't have an education category, but they do have a service business award that you could enter. And they also have a Making a Difference category, which is a people's choice. There's the Innovate Awards, not specifically an education category, but there is a category called the Ideas Distiller and the Innovate Service Award, which you could certainly write in accordance to what it is that you're doing in education to be able to fit that category. There's the QCT TeachX Awards, which is an Australian-based one. The nominations close July 16. That is for teachers in the classroom. So just double check that. There's the Digital Education Awards. That's an international one. They close August 1. They've got things like the Digital Education Institution of the Year, Digital Education Team of the Year. There's the Global Tech Awards, Education Technology Awards, and the Open Edu. There's a heap. I've rattled off quite a few there. And there's, yeah, I think that's off the top of my head. There are those awards for the education, which I hope will help you. So many, yes, as Kirsty said, so many are perfect for you, Karen.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the top of your head, Annette. Imagine what's in the rest of your head if that's just off the top of your head. Goodness
I
gracious.
would hate to think. Sometimes my head frightens me. The amount of knowledge I have that's completely useless.
It's leaking. Now, Catherine has asked a very good question about the fact that she is slammed with business and wants to do it, doesn't have the time, and she's super interested in how we help people, which I will put a link in there later on, but we're not going to talk about your question just at the moment, Catherine, because there's another one from Kirsty, which is very, very good. How much is it a turn off, and I'm assuming for the judges, if somebody goes over the maximum word count or doesn't get up to that maximum word count? I'm guessing.
I love that one. This is a great one. And Lauren and I have both been judges for a number of awards. And I'll often ring her and go, oh my God, this person has just frittered their opportunity. They had 1,000 words and they wrote 200. What was the point? Especially if you've paid to enter, like, wouldn't you want to capitalize on that? So, Kirsty, most awards, it's almost impossible to go over the maximum because of the platforms that they use to take the submissions. So many of them pay to use like Awards Force or Awards Platform or Judgify, and they can actually set the word limit. So you can't progress if you do go over the word limit. So that really helps. If they don't have that capacity to turn on the word limit and you do go over, it can count against you because judges are often given a lot of entries to go through. They have limited time to go through each one, and you don't want to piss them off by waffling. So this is where it's really helpful that if you are a waffler, is that you get someone to edit and proofread your entry for you, because then you've got that backup of someone going, you know what, you actually said the same thing 3 times, just in a different way. Could you not contract that? Or you said this and then you didn't qualify it or quantify it. Can you perhaps do that? And going under the word count is a real turn off as well. Like maybe not, 50 or 100 words, but if you've got, like I'm writing a Women in Finance Awards at the moment, it's 300 words per question. And, some of them I've got to 285 because I'm really good at padding, but you don't want to pad for the sake of padding. So as long as you use like 80 to 90% of the word count, you're pretty safe in the judges not judging you and going, this person hasn't tried hard enough.
Absolutely. And the other thing we see a lot as judges is worse than the word count issue. People just uploading either an article or a press release and not taking the time to actually write an entry. There's a real skill to writing an entry. And I know Annette and I get feedback all the time from the other judges, especially in the Stevie Awards, because we've been doing a number of those. They can tell which people we've helped because of the way that our entries flow and the fact that they tell a story, they've got dot points where they're needed, and they take people from down a journey with them actually to see where this person's gone to in their business and what the challenges they've met and so on. So great point from Annette. Absolutely getting somebody else to read through it is absolutely vital. And I am going to put a link in right now. If you are interested in more help with your awards, you can go to theaudaciousagency.com/awards. There's a couple of different packages on there. There are some free videos on there. They're recordings of the other webinars we've done. They cover things like the mistakes that people make, what the judges are looking for, what to include in your entries and so on. Now, Amanda just went to get those the other day and they weren't working. So I've just been pulling them together into an online program. It should be up by tomorrow. So if you go there and you can't get hold of it, don't panic. We will be sending the link out to everyone. But it really is just the recordings of a couple of those webinars that Annette and I have done, specifically little step-by-step process things for awards, and they're free, so you can jump in there and have a look at those. But there's a couple of different packages in there. One is an online training that Annette and I put together. Again, step by step, takes you through what to do to enter awards, to win awards, to give your acceptance speech, and then to leverage the awards when you've got them, even if you don't win. And I think that's $197. So it just gives you, and it's lifetime. So you can use that as often as you like. There's a program there. And then the alternative, especially answering the question from the lovely Catherine, yes, we can do them for you. So if you don't have time, that's a process that involves you filling out an online form that gives us links and things so that we don't have to go looking for those ourselves. That probably might take you maybe 15 to 20 minutes to find those links and put that form together for us. You then have an interview with Annette, and she then interviews you to get your entry together and your story together. And I then build your support document for you if that's needed for the award that you're entering in. So we need your logos and colours, any images and things like that, which you can just send to us as a Dropbox link or a Google Drive link, wherever you want to send it to us. And we basically do it for you. The only additional price to that is any entry fees for those awards. And as Annette said, there's a number of different awards out there. Some are free to enter. I think the Innovate Awards are about 160 Australian dollars. There are free award categories in the International Women in Business Awards. I think the least one in there is about $195 American, and it goes up to about $500 American. So, so you can go and check out those packages. Now, next question from the lovely Paul. Nice to see you, Paul, looking so well. A very new world to you about awards. Absolutely, sounds interesting. Not sure if I'd be eligible to enter awards. I've got more to offer though through what I've achieved through my journey in education. I know your health and wellness and your weight loss journey has been amazing, Paul, and what you're doing with your business, but I'll let Annette answer this. I would suggest before I hand it over to her though, much of it is the question we always ask people, why do you want to win an award? And that gives us a much better way of figuring out what the strategy is and which ones to enter. But I will pass it over to Annette to answer your question.
And that is a good question. And I think, Paul, that you would be looking at something around, if you've got programs that you could enter in as a program, the My Business Awards, which open in, the fourth quarter of the year, have got a category on health and fitness. The Australian Small Business Champions, I know it says business, but they also have a category on health and fitness that you can enter. So I would be looking for those health and fitness awards. I'd be also looking for leadership and inspirational awards, of which there are many. I can certainly have a hunt around. My top of my head is not bringing anything up. I can think of plenty of inspirational women awards, but you're not a woman, so that doesn't really help you very much, I know. But I know that there are certainly some out there that I can have a poke around. So I would be focusing on your programs because they are life-changing. You've demonstrated how life-changing they are for you. So you also want to be able to demonstrate that to your prospective clients. And, and I think there's this thing when we think, well, are people really interested in awards? Does it really impact the decision that they make when they're choosing between working with one person and working with another person? And I've been doing a lot of reading about our limbic system, that part of our brain which manages our emotions and how we make decisions. And Lauren's certainly an expert on this from neurobranding. And the way that we work with our profile building, which we incorporate awards into, is based on that. The more that you can put out there across a range of different channels that appeal to a range of different people. So we know that when we create our target audience, that we create this avatar. So, we're hoping that person has all of those interests and dislikes and problems and challenges. But let's face it, we're human beings. We're all different. We're not all on Facebook. We're not all on Instagram. We don't all listen to podcasts. So the more that you can create to drop those breadcrumbs, which is entering awards, writing content, being on podcasts, showing up in social media, the more you have the opportunity to impact someone's emotions, the more that they're able to build a relationship with you. So when it does come time for them to begin the buying journey, you have already cemented a place in their heart and their mind that they'll go, okay, I'm looking for someone who can help me with weight loss. And their brain will go, oh, that guy, Paul, I keep seeing him. I heard him on a podcast. Hey, didn't he make the finals for that My Business Awards? And our brain does all of these things that we don't even realize that we're doing. And we pick up the phone and we're talking to that person and you say, how did you hear about me? Oh, I've seen you around. And you know that what you've done with your strategy has worked. And that's why awards are so powerful. That one award may not make any difference in the short term, but strategy and building our profile and building our brand is not about right here, right now. It's about 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the track. And that's why strategy is so important when we're looking at that. There you go. I just got on my soapbox there, Lauren.
I think you're getting a bit bigger there on the screen. Awesome. Paul, I've just had a look at the Innovate Awards, and there are 2 categories in there. I wasn't sure whether you've also developed a product, but certainly Innovative Product or Innovative Service Award recognises businesses that have designed and created a service that responds to the intuitive marketplace. So if that's coaching or it's a product that you've created or anything like that, or I love the fact that Annette jumped on that way, because that's exactly what I did with my neuro branding process. So I hadn't been to university. I had no formal qualifications in neuro branding, even though I'd worked in the advertising industry for years with brands. And I actually won a Silver Stevie Award for my program. So it then made the process that I use to help people with their brands an award-winning process. So it gives your whole process, your whole approach, credibility. So absolutely looking at those innovative categories and service-based categories is a good one to go for sure. And yeah, doing it through your journey and what you're doing and educating people and so on. And you can talk about the products that you have as well, but you're really looking at your approach and what your unique approach has been. Keela, what awards would be most suitable for interior design and or residential innovators and builds? I'll let Annette answer this as well. I would assume, obviously, in your industry would make a lot of sense. Yep. But then outside of that, there are some really good ones you can go for.
Yeah, so they do have the Australian Interior Design Awards. I'm just checking to see if they're open. They've done the awards for this year, so 2021's done and dusted. So I would suggest that you go onto their website, which is australianinteriordesignawards.com, and contact them and just see if they've got a waiting list to let you know what will come out in 2022. There's certainly plenty of building awards. You know, the Master Builders have got Housing and Construction Awards. The HIA has got their own awards program. They've got the Building Award, the Building Women Awards and the Housing Awards that you could also look at. The Master Builders have also got the National Excellence Awards. Now, none of these I've seen have opened for the year, but you can certainly look at those. And then there's also the different, general awards that you can enter under your business name or as an individual for maybe how you've innovated within your industry, customer service or a marketing campaign that you've done around a project that you've delivered. So any of those ones that we've rattled off this morning or in the list that Lauren has put there would be suitable for that. So they're the only ones I know off the top of my head. We can certainly come up with some more international ones. We haven't really had a lot to do with the building ones, and the only reason I know them is because I worked for an organisation a few years ago where we entered a whole heap of building awards. So they've just stuck in my head.
Nice. There is one in the Innovate Awards as well, Keela, called the Quiet Achiever Award, which is a really nice one for a small business that's up and coming. The award recognises the dare in the spotlight business leader. The reluctant attention seeker embraces challenges without seeking kudos. And that one is absolutely up your alley. The Quiet Achiever Award would be quite a good one as well. And there are startup categories as well, of course, that you would be looking at.
And the Stevie Women in Business Awards, which is open right now, they've got a startup category in business services. There's also Best New Product and Service category that you could enter as well. And when you're looking at creating an awards calendar, is having that awards diversity in terms of, sometimes it's not just all about what our business is. It may be about a project that we've completed. It may be about, you know, there's heaps of customer service awards out there. You really want to elevate that aspect of your business. Or it could be, you know, your financial growth. If you have had a rip snorter of a year, and you could focus on that. So when you're sitting down and looking at what awards you want to enter, as Lauren said to Paul, what is it that you want to be known for? What is it that you want to get from your awards? Because they're really like, we've got access to a database which is something like over 3,000 awards internationally. There is really something for everyone, from web design to marketing to, you know, just plain old business success. So there's some more homework for you. Ding, 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 ding. 2 pieces of homework is sit down and write down what you want to get out of the awards. You know, what is it that you really want to shine the light on in your business? And that will help you nail down what categories to enter and what awards you want to enter. And you know that Lauren and I are always here as a resource. We do create awards calendar. There is a fee for that service because it does take, you know, I don't have them all stored in my head. I certainly have a few, but, you know, it takes a little bit of research to come back to you with a calendar to say, here for the next 12 to 18 months is absolutely everything you can enter based on the conversation that we had.
So that's a real option for people if you're listening today and you are going, oh gosh, this sounds brilliant. I just don't have the time to even think about it. And again, it's on our website. If you go to the Audacious Agency /awards, on that page, you'll find there is a package there for us to do an interview with you and figure out which awards would be best for you, and come back with a calendar, which gives you the awards. You can enter the dates they open and all the links and everything else. So that's really helpful as well. Now, Karen Bonanno has asked, what if you've been contracted by an organisation to help them be successful and they've experienced the growth, especially during COVID? Can she enter as an individual, being the person who was headhunted to help them, or would it be better that the organisation needs to nominate her?
Well, you could do both. Karen, I don't see why you couldn't enter based on your consultancy. So you could position that as a case study, so something very specific. So this is the story of what happened. This is what I went in to do. And these are the results of what happened with them working for me. You could get testimonials from the people that you worked with, some support to show the impact that you made and enter that. Or they might want to nominate you in any number of awards. Now, look, when we talk about being nominated, there's very few awards that actually have a nomination process. It's the Telstra Best in Business, the Raw Awards, and the Osmopreneur Awards just off the top. But the rest of them are a decision where you go, I'm just going to enter this, and you register and they send you the information. Catherine, thank you for joining us. Catherine's must be heading off.
Yeah, she's got a call.
Call me.
Busy lady. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So back to Karen, is that I would just enter yourself. I can remember the first time that I nominated myself for an award, and I kind of felt a bit weird about it because it's like, nomination is someone else is meant to do that, and it feels weird to ask someone to do that for me. Bugger it, I'll just do it myself. Because if we wait for other people to nominate us, guess what happens? They don't nominate you. Like, you think of all the really good work that you do and how you have to almost pull people's teeth out to get them to leave you a review. They're happy with your work. They think that you're excellent, but you go and ask them for a review and they go, yeah, I'll get to it. We're all really busy. If you want something, go get it. Don't wait for other people to do it for you, because you'll be waiting a heck of a long time.
And life's too short for that. Hey, I've just noticed one of the categories in the Innovate Awards, who on the call today has got more than one business or more than one product or service or a range of things that you look after? Because most of us are multitasking. Would be really interested to know, because there is a category for the Innovate Awards called the Jack or Jill of all trades, which is quite nice. So the award recognises business leaders who showcase their ability by demonstrating flexibility, transformation, and multitasking across a range of businesses. So if you're one of those people who has lots of different businesses, or they're running multiple things that are going on, that is an ideal category for you to enter, because so often, and I do this all the time, I don't like the fact that people are playing in multiple ponds. I prefer that you're very focused on what you're doing, but I know that it happens. And if you've got multiple businesses and all the rest of it, and I'm guilty of the same thing. So you definitely have an opportunity there to talk about how you manage juggling two or three different business streams or income streams. A jack or Jill of all trades. I've only just noticed that category, and that might be a good one. Now, we don't have any other questions in here, and I know that Kirsty has mentioned she's got a connection to share the calendar building. Thank you, Kirsty, for sharing that idea of someone building their calendar and us helping them do that. Thank you so much for doing that for us. Now, Leanne, Miriam and Rachel haven't asked a question at this stage. So if you do have a question, now is the time to ask it. It doesn't need to be about awards. If you want to ask Annette what she's doing at the top of her head at this moment, that's fine. But if you'd like to pop into the chat box or ask us, you can unmute yourself and ask away.
I'm going to put my hand up. How are you doing? I spoke to you a few weeks ago, Lauren, I applied for the Business Basics grant with you.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've got a business called Maralytics, which is a new software program that does marketing analytics gives the return on investment for any marketing activities. So how many sales, how many customers, ROI and that kind of thing. So I haven't actually launched yet. That's why I probably haven't asked a question, because I'm launching the end of this week. So very, very close. But I don't even know what kind of awards I would apply for.
It's a very, very good question. And obviously startup would definitely be those you would be eligible for a start. The other thing, it's a great question as well, Miriam. I'm glad you've asked it, because a lot of people do wonder whether they should be up and running for a certain amount of time before they even go for awards. We've worked with a number of people who have won awards for their concept, even before they've launched. A number of people who are launching like online products, if they've come up with something totally new, to be able to say it's an award-winning product for its design. There was an amazing woman in New Zealand who entered awards in the Women in Business Awards at the Stevies, and Kimberly, she won an award for her concept for her program of helping women ask for better money. She Prosperity was her business. So you don't need to wait until you are this hugely successful business. I think you need to start thinking about building your reputation as an award-winning approach even before you get started. A very, very good question. Annette, your thoughts on Miriam and entering? I know you mentioned a number of the digital online products that are in there for award categories as well.
I think at this stage, Miriam, that you look at the startup categories until you start developing some stats and case studies around your programs. And in 12 months' time, then you can look at those results and then go for, the more product-based award type programs. But if you start with the startup, then you can talk about the process of, what was the gap that you identified? What was the process of you bringing this concept to, that startup phase? What things have you been putting in place around your marketing to push it out there? What was your market research like? Have you had beta testing? What was their response? So that you can really build a really good foundation for whatever it is that you enter next year. And I think that sometimes that startup phase is the most exciting for awards, because if you include awards as part of your annual PR strategy, marketing strategy, is that you can be constantly building on where you've been and what you've accomplished. Not only good for an awards perspective, but it's really good for our hearts and our souls to take that time to look at just what you've accomplished.
And the other thing, Miriam, which is really helpful is, for example, Startup of the Year categories for the International Women in Business Awards for companies that have recognising achievements for business operations that began after July the 1st, 2018. So there's plenty of scope in there to be included, and they're free to enter. The startups. So there's no barrier for that. They've got business products, business services, consumer products, and consumer services. So business services fits beautifully. And
so that was the international.
That's International Women in Business Awards. It's category B11 is the startup of the year. any businesses that began operations since July the 1st, 2018. And it's
Yep.
got a business and consumer products and services. And the other one, Innovate Awards, they're 159 Australian dollars to enter. The startup category is 0 to 2 years award. So from right now, it starts at 0. The award acknowledges businesses who demonstrate their capacity to shape the future with their motivation, inspiration, and passion. So,
and the RAW Awards have got a startup category, as
Which one was that?
do
Sorry, Annette.
the RAW, ROAR, RAW.
Okay.
And
I'll send
and
out
the-
a list of awards with the links with the replay as well. So you can go and have a look at them.
Awesome.
And the Osmopreneur have got a rising star category, and they've also got a new category, women to watch, and these are for businesses that are just starting or like less than 12 months old,
Okay.
and they're $125 a category, or if you enter 3 or more, it's $300 for up to 4 categories.
I love the fact that you have this information handy. Annie. You have a
Yeah,
computer for a brain.
What a shame it doesn't, like when I go to trivia nights at the pub, that there's no questions about awards. I'd smash that thing.
Absolutely nail it.
Yeah.
Now, Rachel, and who else hasn't asked a question? Leanne, any questions from you? I know Leanne hasn't got her camera going either, so she may well be in a meeting somewhere listening to us quietly. Feel free to put something in the chat box, Leanne. Rachel, have you got any questions for us? You can unmute yourself or pop it into the chat box.
Mute.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. I'm sort of, I'll be assisting somebody else with some awards. So this is sort of all general information that's very, very helpful.
Brilliant. Awesome. Awesome. Well done. Go for it. If you need any help, let us know. That's very, very cool. So we're just about, well, time is up actually. We plan to do this for 45 minutes and we've gone over by 5 minutes. So this is really awesome. If you've got any other questions, please pop them in the chat box. But as I say, on our website, you will find lots of information there to help you with awards. And when you win your awards, let us know, because we want to obviously, have a lot of fun and enjoy and celebrate with you. But there's also the award-winning workbook that we have available that we can send to you. It's got a checklist of what to do and how to leverage your awards, because awards are fantastic, but they're only good if you tell the world about them. Pointless winning an award and then, or worse, what I find a lot of people do is they enter themselves into awards and then they wait. They don't tell anybody that they've entered until because I'm not sure if I'm going to win, right? Worst thing you could do, if you've just taken all that time and effort and you've paid some money to enter awards and so on, you want to make sure you're leveraging it right from the get-go. So the very first thing you can do when you do nominate or get nominated or you enter yourself into an award is share that, put it out on social media, send an email out to everybody and thank the people around you who've supported you on your journey and what you've been doing. Miriam, I'm sure in the background, there's been a whole army of people who've helped you to build your process. Paul, you've had a huge amount of support. Everyone's got this amazing army of people behind you. You need to get out there and just thank people for everything they've done to help you on your business journey or on your developmental journey of what you've been doing. And the fact that you're now entering yourself into an award. And, please, everyone, cross your fingers and toes for me and so on. Don't worry that you might not win. It's more important that you leverage the fact that you're now an award-winning nominee and you are out there and you're doing this, and thanking people is a great way to do it. So that's just one big tip that we give to people when they enter awards. But the award-winning workbook is there. If you wanted a copy of that, we can send that to you and you can get hold of that as well. So, and yeah, as I say, there's lots of recordings of the videos like this one that we have from our webinars as well. So there aren't any more questions that I can see in the chat box. Annette, would you like to finish up our webinar with anything today?
I'm going to channel Nike. Just do it. Just do it. Like I know, I've talked a little bit on social media about the first time that I entered an award. And, I come from a background in journalism and corporate comms. So, being in the spotlight was never really something that I sought. I was quite happy being in the background creating what I created. So when I entered small business, I realised that I didn't have the budgets that I used to have when I worked in corporate, and I had to find ways to stand out. And it was probably one of the most challenging personally, mentally times to sit down and write that award application and talk about myself and what I had accomplished. But it was actually the most liberating and incredible experiences that I've ever had. I didn't win. I entered the Osmopreneur Awards. I didn't even make the finals, paid my money over, didn't make the finals, but I got great PR out of it. I was featured in the local paper. People had me on, their programs that, I was interviewed, and I learned a lot about how far that I'd come in the 2 years that I'd started my business. So it's easy to say, don't worry about those voices in our head. It's hard to, because they are very loud, because they are there. But if you can ignore them and quiet them enough that you can sit down and have a go at these questions, even if you don't press submit, that you go through the process to see what it is that you'll experience, you will just be in awe of yourself. And that's what Lauren and I wish for all of you, is that you see you how we see you, whether we know you or not. We know that you work hard, we know that you do good things, and we know that you're making an impact because you're in small business, and that's just our very nature. So see you as we see you, and just have a go.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it more loudly than Annette has. Ignore the itty bitty shitty committee, because they've got no idea what you're up to. Just ignore them, tell them to go away and get on with it, because you do deserve it. You guys work so hard and you deserve to be really well recognised and wanted for what you do. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to my lovely partner in Shine, Annette, who's got the brain of a computer when it comes to awards. Awesome to see you all here. It's wonderful to see you all looking so well, and we will see you in another webinar in the future. But in the meantime, make sure you check out the awards. We'll send you an email with the replay link and a couple of links to those awards. You can go and check out the categories, and don't let anything hold you back. Just go for it, guys. You absolutely deserve it. Cheers, guys. See you soon.